Okay, so I just wanted to introduce myself really quick. My name is Mindy Foreman, and I am in Washington State. I'm actually in Las Vegas right now because my husband and I are doing an awesome road trip. But I'm a wife and a mom of two amazing adult children. I love spending time with my family and friends, and I love to entertain. So one of the things that I love to do is throw parties. And one of our favorite parties that my husband and I love to throw is a New Year's Eve party every year. So with the exception of this past year and during COVID, we didn't have it, but we just love to entertain. We love hanging out with our friends and family. And I go all out for those parties. So it's a lot of fun. I'm also super passionate about personal and professional development, and I love to help guide and help others on their own journeys as well. So just wanted to share a little bit about myself. And I wanted to thank Irene. She's going to be my wing woman today. So if you guys are entering anything in the chat, she will be keeping an eye on for that. Thank you, Irene, for doing that for me. Okay, bear with me for one more second. Trying to get my screen where I can see the slides as well. Okay, there we go. Okay, so the first slide, I just wanted to, I love this quote from Brene Brown. So my topic is tips for creating more joy and less overwhelm for us moms. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a mom of two adult children, so I completely understand the overwhelm that can happen when you're raising kids and maybe having a career, being a single mom, all of those things. So I can totally relate to a lot of those things. And so this topic is pretty near and dear to my heart. But I love this quote that Brene Brown said, if you don't want burnout, stop living like you're on fire. And I actually read this the other day. That's the first time I've seen this quote. And I thought, wow, I wish I would have had that quote in my mind or on my refrigerator or anywhere that I was frequently, in my kitchen or in my living room, so that I can read that and understand that it's okay to not say yes to everything, which is going to lead me into my next topic. But if you don't want burnout, stop living like you're on fire. And a lot of times we tend to say yes to a lot of things that we don't really want to or don't really have the time to do. So that's going to lead me to my next slide here. And I love this top part where it says, we're so good at setting boundaries for ourselves, but not with others. Can anyone relate with that? Relate to that? We're so good at setting boundaries for ourselves, but not with others. So, and when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about this tip number one that I have. It's okay to say no. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, like us as mothers always tend to feel sometimes, actually maybe not always, but a lot of times, right? We tend to feel that overwhelm. It's okay to say no. So when somebody's asking for something that you really don't have the power to do, it's okay to say no. Of course, you're going to look at your priorities and determine whether it's a priority or not, but it is okay to say no. So, you know, for volunteering at the school, when my kids were growing up, I used to always volunteer at the kids' school while having a part-time job or full-time job, excuse me. I was the one that did all the bills. I did a lot of the housework. My husband's awesome too. He contributed to a lot of it. Whoops. Sorry, my watch just went off. Anyway, so there's a lot of times where we're doing so much stuff. And it's okay to just take a look at those things and go, okay, you know what? Maybe today I don't have to do that. Maybe somebody else can help me with that. So why do we take on more than we can handle? And this is actually going to be a question that I'm asking all of you, if anybody wants to kind of jump in there. Why do we feel that we need to take on more than we can handle? Anybody want to either just drop it in the chat or say it out loud?
I think sometimes we don't want to disappoint people.
Yes, that's a big one. Not wanting to disappoint people. What are others going to think about us if we say, no, we can't do that?
I think it's really hard to say no to people. We feel like we're being mean. Not me personally. I know how to do it gracefully, but it's hard to say no and have the person not take it personally.
Right. Do you think that's just our own assumption sometimes? Maybe they're not really taking it personally?
Possible.
Yeah. That's a good one. Why else would we take on more than we can handle? What are the other things that we we're thinking why we do
Because
that.
we are capable.
Yes, we are capable, but to what expense? And I'll get to that in a little bit. Yes, we are capable, but maybe it's not the thing that we need to be saying yes to at the time. What about if they never invite me again? So maybe it's a get together and we just got so many other things going on and my list is already overwhelmed and I just don't have time to go to that get together. What if they never invite me again? Right? Maybe those are some of the thoughts that we're thinking. What if they get mad, like we just talked about? How are they going to view us if we say no? So what are some of the results of us taking on more than we can handle?
Burnout.
Burnout. Yes. Overwhelm. I'm just starting to see some of.
I have a friend that all she did was say yes and then never follow through. And I finally said to her, why do you do that? Because it just makes you look bad. If you say yes, she goes, I just can't say no. I go, but you don't follow through. So then that's even worse.
Yeah.
You're better off just saying no.
That's a great point, Leslie. Absolutely. We're saying yes, but are we actually giving our full undivided attention to whatever it is that we're supposed to be doing as well? So maybe we don't follow through, but what if we don't do it to the full capacity of what they're expecting to, right? So we're saying yes just because we don't want them to get mad or we don't want to be viewed as a certain, like that person that always says no. But it's okay to say no and you can do it gracefully. You don't have to just say no, but you don't also have to offer all sorts of reasons why you're saying no, right? So that's a big point. That's a big point. Like we don't have to give explanations because a lot of time that's eating up a lot of our own time just by giving those explanations. So what are the results? We're not fully present is another one. Like I just mentioned, we're not fully present. We're thinking about all the other things that we have going on, right? Am I the only one? I'm sure I'm not. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. We're always thinking about all those other things that we've got going on. So we're not really fully present if we have too much on our plate. Or people lie when they give an excuse or reason, right? And we don't want to be known as that person. What if they find out you're lying, right? There's all sorts of ways to find out now that you're not telling the truth. Social media, if you're posting, but you're not available for something, but yet you're somewhere else and they see you on social media, then that's not good. So we don't want to lie, but we can definitely say, no, I don't have the capacity at this moment to do this. Or what if it's something that we really don't want to do? So somebody wants you to go make cardboard boxes and it's not your thing. You don't have to say yes to that. You can just say, no, you know what, that's not my thing, but thanks for thinking of me. There's always ways to say no without coming across abrupt or rude. So I want to tell a story. So I was talking about how when we're not fully present. So this is really something that I think about all the time now when I know that I'm overwhelmed or I'm feeling that sense of overwhelm and I'm trying to take on too much. I remember my mom and I going to, I don't remember where we were going, to some sort of an event, and I had work on my mind. I had kids on my mind, what they had for homework, what we're going to make for dinner that night, all the obligations that I committed to. And I was supposed to be present for my mom this day because we were going shopping. It was a mom and daughter day. And I remember being in the car. I'm going to get kind of emotional with this because it really hit me hard. I remember being in the car with her and she was telling me something. And I think I was just nodding and just saying, because I had something else going on in my mind. And she finally said to me, she goes, what's going on? And I said, what do you mean? She goes, you're not fully present. I don't think that you're even hearing what I'm saying. And I just stopped and I instantly told her, you know what, you're right. I'm really sorry, Mom. This is supposed to be your day, but I have this. And I explained to her and she totally got it because she's a mom too, right? She raised 3 kids. And so she knows that overwhelm and that burden. And we had the most amazing conversation after that. She shared with me the same struggles. And so I remember that to this day. And when I'm feeling overwhelmed and I'm supposed to be present with my kids or my husband, my family, my friends, I always have that in the back of my mind that am I really truly present? And then am I listening to them fully? They're telling me a story, but am I actually listening? Because there's oftentimes where back when I was overwhelmed and I was doing it all and I felt this way where people would tell me things, but I didn't remember because I wasn't fully listening. So later on, they're like, wait, I told you that like a month ago. What do you mean you don't remember? So I try to keep that on the back of my mind when I'm supposed to be fully present with other people. I just wanted to share that. And then just, when I talked about me having all those things in my mind. So back when I was raising my kids, like I said, I had a full-time job. At one point I was a single mom when it was just me and my daughter. I had a full-time job. I tended to take on all of the responsibilities. And I think a lot of that was my own control because I felt like I could do it better. And that's not really a good trait to have. Other people are fully capable. And what if they don't do it your way? It's okay sometimes, right? Maybe they don't load the dishwasher the way you load the dishwasher, but at least the dishwasher is being loaded. But I just remember always wanting to do it all. And while having a job and all of that other stuff going on. And I wanted to make all of the extracurricular activities for the kids and all of the sports activities. I wanted to volunteer in the school, and the teacher wanted me to be there every Friday. And I said yes, even though it was too much for me. And there was one time where I missed one of my son's football games. And again, this is one of these things that I remember very clearly. I missed one of his football games because I was out of town on a work trip. And I was so upset with myself that I had to miss it, but I had to go to this work trip. And he never said anything because I was at all of his other football games. But now he knows how much I always wanted to be there and be present and be in those moments with them, that he will joke with me often just to lighten it up. Like, hey, Mom, remember when you missed that football game that I had going on? Wow, you're such a terrible mom. And it just reminds me that, you know what, I did the best I could. But if I can go back and change things, I would probably not change them because I wouldn't be here to be able to talk to other women through these obstacles, right? And I raised two amazing kids, so I'm super proud for that. Sure, I wasn't always fully present. Sure, I could go back. If I could go back, I could change that. But they know I love them. They know I was always there, and just kind of getting this word out to other moms that it's okay to say no, so that you are able to be fully present in those moments where you really need to be fully present. And I'm missing some of the chats. I'm sorry. It is hard to delegate. Yeah, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. It's hard to delegate. Like I talked about, I feel like that was a challenge for me because I felt like it wasn't done the right way. But over time, you kind of realize that it's okay that it's not done the right way. As long as somebody else is contributing and they feel wanted and needed and they feel value, then it's probably a really good thing. And I love that where you said the grace to be able to make mistakes. Absolutely. We all make mistakes. All right, so let's see what else. So what are the results of taking on more than we can handle? So we already talked about that. Half the troubles of this life can be, oops, I can't see this because can be traced to saying yes too quickly and not saying no soon enough. Right. So we're so good sometimes at saying yes too quickly, but not saying no. So when somebody's asking you to do something and you know that it's probably not something that you can take on at the moment, take a few seconds to really think that through and ask yourself, is this something that I can really do to my full capacity? Can I actually do what they're asking me to do and do it well? If not, it's okay to say, you know what, I can't take that on at this time. And again, don't worry about trying to find excuses for why. Just let them know you just can't at this time. And I think that they appreciate the honesty more than you trying to find an excuse.